The Astronomer and the Unseen Planet. Dr. Aris Thorne had always been captivated by the silent spaces between the stars. His career was defined by a single revolutionary hypothesis that beyond the Kuiper Belt, in the sun's distant halo, lay a planet he named Astria, whose unusual elliptical orbit subtly influenced the known movements of the solar system's most remote objects. It was a beautiful idea, born from a flicker of intuition and a minute statistical anomaly in decades-old observatory data. But a beautiful idea is not evidence. For 20 years, Aris's search for Astria yielded nothing but disappointment. He used every new telescope, every sensitive detector, and every established calculation model. All of them failed. His grant funding dried up. His papers were rejected with increasingly condescending comments, and his peers began to refer to his life's work as Thorne's folly. Aris retreated from the prestigious university labs to a small, dusty private observatory, funded only by his savings. The loneliness was profound. The hardest part wasn't the failure of the technology. It was the slow, crushing erosion of self-belief. He stared at the giant stacks of printouts, the noise, the static, the irrelevant cosmic background that drowned out his planet, and felt the same noise drowning out his own conviction. "The math is sound, Aris," his one supportive colleague, Dr. Elena Rostova, had once told him. "But the data is too messy. You are trying to find a whisper in a hurricane." One autumn evening, slumped over a terminal, Aris had an epiphany born of sheer exhaustion. For 2 decades, he had treated the colossal data sets, the billions of light readings from all those failed observation nights, as a problem of subtraction. He had meticulously filtered, smoothed, and erased the noise in an attempt to isolate the tiny light signature of Astria. But what if the noise wasn't the enemy? What if it was the language of the universe he refused to hear? He realized the established models were based on the assumption that a planet must be visible to be real. Aris decided to abandon visual confirmation entirely. He began a 2-year project to design a completely new algorithm, a statistical ghost hunter he called the Harmonic Residue Tracker, HRT. The HRT didn't look for Astria's light. It looked for its shadow. It was designed to analyze the collective, minute gravitational pull on billions of pieces of cosmic dust and rock observed over the last 20 years. The planet's gravitational influence would introduce a tiny, rhythmic wiggle into the motion of every other particle in that region. If he could prove that rhythmic wiggle existed, Astria had to be there, even if it was shrouded in cosmic dark matter. The process was agonizing. The code was complex, the runtimes were weeks long, and the initial results were frustratingly random. Aris had to relearn the language of his discipline, treating physics like a language and the cosmic background like static on a radio. He poured through every failed observation, not as a scientist looking for truth, but as a detective looking for patterns of deception. Finally, after months of debugging and recalibration, he launched the final analysis run, using the entire 2 decades of archived failed data. He waited, his hands shaking, until the terminal flashed green. The HRT didn't produce a picture of Astria. It produced a clean, undeniable, 3-dimensional geometric map of gravitational perturbation. The forces were real, the period was consistent, and the magnitude was exactly what his initial dismissed calculations had predicted decades earlier. Aris didn't cheer or rush to the press. He simply stood up and walked outside, looking up at the Milky Way. Astria, the planet he had been told was a hallucination, was out there, moving silently in the dark. It couldn't be seen, but its existence was now undeniable. The publication of his findings was a sensation. Aris hadn't just discovered a planet. He had proven that breakthrough is often found by questioning the tools of the search itself. He showed the world that when your intuition is solid, you must have the courage to trust your own unique method, even when it means years of solitude and rejection. Astria, the unseen planet, became a beacon, a powerful reminder that true scientific spirit means persevering until you can make the invisible real.